News 5 on your side presents Kaleidoscope, focusing on people who make a difference in Northeast Ohio communities.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to have you with me again. The 2018 National Civil Rights Summit takes place Wednesday, April 11th at the City Club of Cleveland. The chairman, Avery Friedman of Cleveland, is here to tell us more about the event. Then later on today, Pat Ramsey of Fifth Third Bank and Rita Andelson of Metro Health will share information about the Fifth Third Financial Empowerment Mobile. And on the broadcast after that, Cleveland State University Director of Community Partnerships, Julian Rogers, talks about a leadership training conference hosted by the University of Cleveland State. Good morning again, everybody. I'm Leon Bibb. This is Kaleidoscope. By the way, this is show number 847, I believe. 18 years we've been doing this, so really good to have my good friend here, Avery Friedman, on show number 847.
It's great to be back with you, Leon.
Yeah. Tell us what to expect at this National Civil Rights Summit, going to be here in Cleveland, set for Wednesday, April the 11th.
Exactly right. It is to the day that President Lyndon Baines Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1968. And it wasn't necessarily an enlightened effort. It came about as a result of the assassination of Dr. King on the 4th of April, the riots which ensued after that, and Congress's reaction of passing this law, hand-carrying it and signed by Lyndon Johnson 1 week after the murder. There's no law in American history that has that kind of dramatic and provocative background.
Before the assassination of Martin Luther King, this legislation was held up in Congress, was going nowhere.
Going nowhere because white Americans really thought that if you had a black neighbor, it was going to lower their property values. They were dead wrong, and the Fair Housing Act was the way America learned to prove that when people live together, irrespective of color, the system works.
So what happens on the April the 11th at the City Club, where you're holding this, at this National Civil Rights Summit? What's going to happen there?
It is going to be an explosion of talent, not only from Clevelanders like yourself, but also people coming in from all over the country. Professor Ted Shaw from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, the director of the Civil Rights Center, and to top it off, somebody that everybody knows here in Cleveland, our former general manager of the Cavs, Wayne Embry, who's written a book on race, power, and politics. So it's going to be a star-studded, explosive event starting at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Avery, you are a longtime civil rights attorney working in federal court on a daily basis, representing your clients in civil rights issues. This is still a significant event as we mark the Fair Housing Act, isn't it, in the quest for civil rights?
Well, I appeared before a House Judiciary Committee at their invitation, and the members of Congress said, well, you know, if you succeed in your goal in ending racial segregation, you're going to put yourself out of business. And I said, well, yeah, maybe I'll write wills or do rear-enders, you know, like Tim Misny or Elkin Elk or something.
Well, they're okay, too.
No, I'm not really worried about that. The fact is that America still has a racial problem, and as long as that exists, I will be there.
What do you want to come out of this event? What do you want us to understand at this event, which is, by the way, you tell me it's sold out.
Sold out.
So there are no more tickets available, and it's a morning thing, all morning long. 8:30 in the morning we start?
8 until probably about 1:15, so...
At the City Club?
At the City Club of Cleveland. The saddest thing is I want my whole community to be here.
Yeah.
And we can't accommodate it. But what's going to come out of it is something that I think needs to be addressed. In February of 1968, 2 months before the assassination, a presidential commission, the Kerner Commission, came up with a study that said that unless we do something about segregation, we're going to have two nations, one black and one white. I still believe that that is a problem in America, and so this summit will focus in on not only that reality, but some of the solutions in dealing with the segregation, the apartheid of America.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad to be a part of this, and let me just have full disclosure. I'm working with Avery on this. I got a
yeah, you're doing a soliloquy, which the guys in the booth told me I misspelled.
I have a small piece of this, but I'm going to do something special, kind of set the tone, kind of stating the occasion and taking us back to the days of Martin Luther King and the Fair Housing Act. This is vital stuff for you. You don't just do this. This is in your bloodstream. This is in your DNA, isn't it? This kind of work.
Well, I don't know that it actually started out that way, but that's where it evolved. You know, when you find yourself in a confrontation in racial strife, not just here in Cleveland, but all over America, it gives you the energy to stand up and fight back to make sure that America is what it is meant to be.
We're living on this Fair Housing Act right now. I mean, it's more than black and white. I mean,
that's right.
It's gay, it's gender. It affects everybody one way or the other, doesn't it?
Well, I think the essence of our American DNA is that we understand that we are a people, a righteous and good people. And when you start pushing people around for reasons for which they have no control, you can't change what race you are. So if some people interfere with that freedom, it's time to stand up and fight back. And that's what we're going to hear about on the 11th of April.
And your keynote speaker, once again, give a plug on your
keynoter is Wayne Embry coming in talking about race and power and politics, a more apropos subject you couldn't choose. And he is going to be explosive. We also have Professor Ted Shaw coming from North Carolina, and he has a lot to say about this. So it will be a summit unlike Cleveland has ever seen.
Once again, it's going to be at the City Club, which is at the corner of Euclid Avenue and East 9th Street. It is sold out, so there are no more seats available, but it'll certainly be covered on local television and on national television.
You bet it will.
Yeah, and Avery Friedman very much involved with CNN as one of the contributing editors on CNN, appears every Saturday on that broadcast.
Well, thanks for the plug.
Yeah, my pleasure, my friend. My good friend Avery Friedman, who is a local attorney, civil rights, a member of the Civil Rights Hall of Fame, the National Hall of Fame. So many thanks for being on the broadcast.
Pleasure
to see you, my friend.
Okay. All the best.
I'll take a break. I'll be right back. We'll talk about educating the community about money management after we do this first. You're in touch with Kaleidoscope. I'm Leon Bibb. Pat Ramsey is Vice President of Community and Economic Development at Fifth Third Bank. She joins me today, along with Rita Andelson, Director of External Affairs at Metro Health Medical Center. They're going to talk about the Fifth Third Financial Empowerment Mobile and the partnership with Metro Health. Pat Ramsey on the left and Rita Andelson on the right. Good to have you both with us. Pat, tell me, what is the Fifth Third Financial Empowerment Mobile?
Oh, thank you, Leon, first of all, for having us here. It is actually, I would say, also known as the e-bus, and we're actually bringing this to several communities, of which Metro Health is one of our community partners. And we're going to have about 14 computers on the bus itself where people can come in and look at their credit histories, see where they start on the credit histories and where they can help really help clean up that history, or at least learn about it. Do you know, a lot of people are afraid to even check out their history, so when they find out where they stand, sometimes it's a really good thing. But so they're going to receive an evaluation of their finances, and then they're also going to be talking with people about housing, money management, stuff like that.
Get on the bus.
Get on the bus. Get on board.
As we were saying, take it to the bank. You can take that to the bank. Here, the bank comes to the community.
Absolutely,
okay,
and it's a great thing. And you know what, since the bus has been around, about 400,000 people throughout our corporate footprint have been on the bus and have taken advantage of understanding their finances.
We'll talk about stops on the bus in just a minute. I want to bring Rita Andelson, Director of External Affairs for Metro Health, in. How is Metro Health involved in this now? A hospital or a medical center involved in this?
Right, involved in your financial issues.
Yeah.
So we've long had a partnership with Fifth Third and look forward to continuing that partnership. You know, we as a health institution are committed to taking care of everyone in Cuyahoga County. And that care extends beyond the exam room or the hospital. It really extends to the whole community. We look really at the overall health and wellness, and financial wellness is a component of that. You know, finances and poverty are one of the social determinants of health, and it has an impact on your overall health. So with this program, it's aimed at employees, it's aimed at community members that can work with Fifth Third to truly assess their financial position and really empower them so that they can have a stake in the community and a stake in all of the transformative action that's happening around the hospital in our community.
In other words, if you've got financial concerns, then that can affect your very health.
Absolutely.
Your physical body and, your mental and all of that. So that's why Metro Health is very much involved. Where's the bus going to make stops? Now, it's just going to be around. It's got a route it's going, right?
It has a route that it's going, and we're about halfway through our travel at this point in time. And so our first stop on this coming Monday is going to be at Ohio Guidestone on Prospect, right a couple blocks over. And then we're going to be at Metro Health, where we're going to be there for several hours and working with the employees there, and we're looking forward to that. We're also going to go down to Summit County to Ohio Means Jobs on Talmadge, and that's a great partnership as well. And then we're going to come back up here with Cuyahoga Metropolitan Housing Authority on that Thursday, that's the 12th, and then we're going to end up at the Financial Prosperity Center in Canton with United Way.
We can find these on the website.
You can find it on the website. It's online. Yes, absolutely.
If you go to 53 number
.com. That's right.
Just 53.com. More information on everything we're talking about, or go to Metro Health.
We call it banking of Fifth Third better.
Is that right? Is that right? Okay. This is vital stuff we're talking about. Yeah. Is that why Metro Health decided to get involved in this bank on wheels, or this financial information on wheels going into the community?
Right. You're right, Leon. It is vital stuff. So we at Metro Health are building a new hospital. It's part of our transformation project. So as a new hospital goes up, that is certainly the biggest, most visible component that we're going to see. But in addition to, and just as important, is the transformation in the community. We're an anchor institution in the West 25th Clark Fulton area, and we take that responsibility as an anchor institution, very seriously. So not only are we building a hospital that will be state-of-the-art, that will provide the best care possible, but we're also extending that commitment to the community. And we at Metro Health, which is, for me, one of the most one of the reasons why I went to work at Metro Health was because we have the opportunity as a hospital to help change the face of a neighborhood for the future. And part of that is financial, and part of that is empowering people through the work that Fifth Third is doing to really have a stake in what is their neighborhood, to really be immersed, and that neighborhood will, and the forward movement will continue long after the hospital goes up and opens in 2022. What we're doing there now and what Fifth Third is doing there will continue for years to come.
In our final minute here, let me ask you, Pat, now tell us again what happens on this bus. What kind of information can people get on this bus?
They can actually get information about their credit history. So they're pulling the credit history down. They have a couple of options on how to do that. And then they will get some financial counseling on what to do with that credit history. And also that means that may create a pathway for them to look at housing, because we'll have mortgage lenders on the bus. We'll have business people on the bus who could talk about if you want to start a business or what have you, because there's going to be people there from outside the community that'll be coming in, as well as the Metro Health employees, which is going to be great too. But a pathway to economic security is the one thing that we really care about. Also, for the rest of the community, they can look at Next Jobs. We have a partnership with Next Jobs that people can take a look at some sort of counseling for jobs, because you need a job to pay your mortgages and all of that.
Well, we'll look for what you call the e-bus. Get on the bus. It'll be in communities and neighborhoods. Once again, if you go to 53.com, Fifth Third Bank, 53.com, or metrohealth.org, more information on everything we're talking about. Many thanks, Rita. Many thanks, Pat. Appreciate you being on the broadcast.
Thank you for having us.
We'll get on the bus and keep it going. Okay. I'll take a break. I'll be right back in just a moment. We'll talk about leadership training at Cleveland State University. This is Kaleidoscope. Back shortly. I'm glad to have you with me today. Cleveland State University Director of Community Partnerships, Julian Rogers, joins me now to share information about a leadership training conference to be hosted by Cleveland State University. It is set for June 14th through the 17th. Training will be led by the organization called Building One America. Hey, Julian, how are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Tell me about Building One America at Cleveland State. What is that?
So Building One America is actually a national organization that Cleveland State has been partnering with over a number of years. They're based out of New Jersey and their executive director is a gentleman named Paul Scully.
Yeah.
And so we've partnered with them on a number of initiatives over the years. Most recently, a forum that was held back in May of 2016, where we explored the intersection of the labor movement and the civil rights movement. So at that time, we had a number of activists, labor union people, religious community folks coming together for a conference to talk about how the labor movement, how labor organizations and civil rights organizations can partner together.
So you're having this training conference. What's going to happen at this training conference at the University of Cleveland State?
Right.
June 14th through the 17th.
So we're building on what we started back in May of 2016, and a lot of those people that were at that conference back then, it said, you know, how do we move this forward? So this training will kind of help. We're going to identify some people that are in the early stages of leadership and develop them on how to build power, create coalitions, multiracial coalitions, and on creating change in our society today.
That takes us back to the concept, the name, Building One America. Apparently there are many Americas.
So, you know, over the years there's been some division, and I think there's always been a divide in this country, particularly around racial lines and economic lines. And so this training is to focus on how do you lessen those gaps and lessen those divides, and identifying, you know, particularly if you look at how when changes start to happen in communities, particularly around racial lines, as communities become majority white to mixed or half, you know, there's a struggle there. And so these trainings are trying to address that struggle that exists.
And how we should approach that, and perhaps how we could solve some of the conflicts that come out of the struggle. Who can attend this conference, and does it cost anything to go? So
there is a cost. We're looking, it's going to be small, so we're looking to recruit about 40 people to participate. The cost is $450. We're hoping that organizations will sponsor people within their organizations that they feel have the potential to be great leaders. It will be on our campus. We've kept the cost down as much as possible, so people will actually be staying in our dorms over the summer. And
going back to college again.
Right. So we're looking for people within religious groups or labor unions, education sector folks that you know, have that potential to be great leaders, and just with a little bit of training and development could really kind of step up to the plate and help reform their community.
I assume that they can register online.
Online, buildingoneamerica.org.
buildingoneamerica.org. What do you think will be the outcome of this? Look into your crystal ball. What do you see this as precipitating, beginning?
So, you know, I think it will, you know, get a cohort of people that will start looking at things a little bit differently on how to approach leadership, how to approach change within communities. And those conversations really start, part of the training here is the importance on one-on-one organizing, and how these one-on-one conversations with people that you don't normally have conversations with can actually lead to some substantial change.
It is my feeling that people, although they may be of different races and ethnic backgrounds, that generally people want the same thing. That generally people feel pretty much the same kinds of things.
Exactly.
Generally speaking.
I mean, you know, people want to make sure that their families are taken care of, that there's food on the plate, that their mortgage is taken care of. Those are kind of the core issues at hand. They want to make sure that they're healthy and they have access to good health care. Those are things that people care about, and people have their own self-interest. And so part of the training here is, how do you approach people with that you may perceive have differences than you, but actually there are a lot of self-interest that people have in common.
The things in common outnumber the differences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Once again, it's going to be June the 14th. That's a Thursday through Sunday, June 14 through 17, on the campus of Cleveland State University. And as Julian tells us, you actually be staying in the residence halls. It'll be like a college experience, really, at Cleveland State University. $450. You're expecting 40 people So that you got to jump on this quickly.
Right.
This is going.
Right.
This is
it's
going to
go quickly. We've already had the applications are out. So people have, we've got at least 15 applications already submitted. So again, go to buildingoneamerica.org. Take a look at some of the other work that we've done in the past.
And get registered.
Right.
Many thanks. Julian Rogers, Director of Community Partnerships for Cleveland State University. We will see you there June 14th.
Great. Thank you. 17th. Appreciate it.
I'll take a break. I'll be right back. Marsha Maccabee, the Urban League, with a commentary after this. Just a quick reminder now, Cleveland Clinic's annual Minority Men's Health Fair with Dr. Charles Modlin takes place Thursday, April the 19th from 5 o'clock until 9 o'clock. There will be free health screenings for men of all ages at Cleveland Clinic. There are 3 locations this year: Cleveland Clinic main campus, in the Miller Pavilion at 9500 Euclid Avenue with free parking, the Lorraine Family Health Center, and Akron General. To register, call 216-444-5600 or log on to clevelandclinic.org. Now here's Marsha Maccabee of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. What's on your mind today, Marsha?
Hi, Leon. How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Doing okay.
Good. So I have some wonderful news to report. Recently I've been sharing with our audience that our historically black college tour was going on, and it just recently returned. But let me tell you what a wonderful outcome that we had on that tour. 4 of our young people have received, not only did they put in an application, but they've received admittance to some of the colleges. We took seniors with us, and we have 4 individuals who were accepted at Grambling University, and we have 1 accepted at Morehouse.
So this is as a result of going on the tour to the colleges and the children kind of getting an idea what it might be like.
Exactly.
And you hit the nail on the head and something happened.
And our staff, who are very, very astute at, working within the system of a college or university and have built relationships with these HBCUs over time, they have relationships to go right to the admissions office and say, can we sit down with this one? Can we sit down with this one? They bring their paperwork with them. And so the result is some of them are able to apply and get accepted on the spot.
Urban League has a compass, and you gave a compass heading to some young people and talking about college, and off they go.
Yes,
that's a good idea.
It is a good idea.
Thank you, Marsha. That's going to do it for us. Be well.
This has been a presentation of News 5's Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland.